On Thursday, the Senate Education Committee considered a bill that would prohibit transgender K-12 public school students from using facilities that match their gender identity. The bill requires that restrooms, locker rooms, and sleeping quarters be separated by male and female biological sex, though schools would also be required to provide accommodations for students who are unwilling or unable to use multi-occupant facilities.
There are lots of different interest groups that and Caldwell School District is a perfect example of this, where the school boards and the school administrators have been caught in a no-win situation. And we recognize that, which is one of the reasons why this legislation is here. The bottom line is, our schools shouldn't be fighting a culture war in the courts. They have no business there. Okay, they should be teaching our kids. This legislation really gets out in front of that, lays a baseline for all the schools on how, and the majority of our schools, overwhelming majority of our schools in the state already follow this policy, so there will not need to be much adjustment for that.
This bill is not only unconstitutional, but it also perpetuates harmful stereotypes and contributes to the stigmatization of marginalization of transgender individuals. Banning transgender youth from the bathroom that aligns with their gender identity not only denies them the right to use facilities that align with their gender, but it also places them at an increased risk of harassment and violence. This bill incorrectly states that trans kids using their preferred restroom leads to cis students experiencing harassment, embarrassment, and other terrible acts like rape. Not only does this perpetuate the trans community as pedophiles, abusers, and totally false characteristics, but legislation, precedent, and rhetoric that is in this bill and other hundreds of bills introduced across this U.S. isolates the trans community.
But the bottom line is, from Lake Pend Oreille to Bear Lake, there are district there are trustees who are confused and don't know what to do. They're looking for the state to act to create a uniform policy, which this does. It makes it crystal clear as to what they have to do to provide them more opportunity and be able to provide some certainty for them so they know they have protection, not only just within their districts, but also legally.
The authors are correct that students deserve privacy. That should be real privacy in the form of peek-proof stall doors and individual curtained changing areas. I won't argue as to whether gender dysphoria is caused by a physical or a mental defect. Either way, this bill is part of a broader campaign to deny vulnerable children the life-saving treatment they need.
That bill passed on a 6-2 party line vote and moves on to the full Senate.